hoping it cools off the house because I'm like sweating.
Aw. Ah, there she is.
That's
Hello.
a little-
Make sure you guys are loving on my sister. Would you like to introduce yourself so people can know who at least you are? We'll start with that.
Okay, yeah. So, at the Walinas yung gatuya, to kayo nus kwayo ni tagasun, pagitaos kaki no chinia. My name is Tala. I'm from Treaty 6 territory. I am Haudenosaunee and Nahiawean, which is Mohawk and Cree and Assiniboine. And I'm from across the medicine line. I don't like to say I'm Canadian, so we just say Treaty territory. Indigenous person, I guess to say from Canada, but we don't like, in my family, we don't like to claim citizenship from Canada because we predate Canada.
Mm, I get that. Okay. Love it. Well, thank you for being here first and foremost. I know we tried the first time, but some stuff came up, and I think everything happens for a reason. So I'm super glad that you're here. Thank you for taking the time out to be here. And you could be doing anything, but you're here with us today. So I really, really appreciate you. And you look like you've been out in the sun. You look like you got a little tan on you.
Oh, I've been in South Dakota, so I'm really brown.
Well, I'm in North Dakota and it's super hot today. Super, super hot.
Yeah, it was on the horse ride, the Little Bighorn horse ride.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I seen your
So,
videos. That was
oh,
epic.
like brown. That was amazing. That was so amazing. Oh.
So if you can just like off script, somebody said the dimple, she is gorgeous. She is so beautiful. Like she is so beautiful. If you can tell the people one thing about what you experienced over there in Little Bighorn, what would it be? Like just
I
one thing.
think one of the powerful things was my uncle sent me money because I needed some money for gas. And he said, I'm sending this to you because we don't talk a lot about what we do as Cree people. For some reason, there's not a lot of talk about things we have done. But Cree warriors came down to the Battle of Little Bighorn and helped as allies. And he said, and so there is a reason that you were there. Because I was like the only Cree. And every morning they would say, Cheyenne, Arapaho, Lakota, Dakota. And they would all war cry or Lily. And I'd be like, and a Cree.
Hey, but you were holding it down though. It's okay. You were holding it down. So I saw a lot of the videos. It was super powerful. Some of my friends were down there, and they said that it was with as much people as was like as showed up. There was no issues. Like there was no issues. Everybody got along. There was nobody that got hurt, like in that way, like at all. They're like, for that many people, it went really, really well.
I think
So,
I made a video because, like in Canada, a lot of young people don't ride horse. And so in the morning, like we started in Ashland, me and my best friend Wesley and his grandson, and we were like our nephew, and we showed up out of nowhere. And it had already gone. They'd already been going for like a week from green grass to greasy grass with my hunka ate Orville looking horse, and Orville had to leave, so Wesley took over driving the trailer and the truck, and so I got to see all of what they do with the horses, and I was just amazed because these children, these kids, these youth were like 5, 9, 14 every day, getting up, saddling up their horse and riding every day. And I recorded it and I made this video. And it was just so empowering because it's just all kids and they're just riding bareback, they're riding with a saddle, they're riding all day, no complaints. And it was so empowering. One of the Indian Country Today or Indian News Today or something, Indian Country News Today or something. Oh, cool. They asked if they could use my TikTok clip in their news, and if they could come. They said they're coming down to the battle to send people to interview our youth. So they came, and I was just going to go shower, and I remember those kids were like, "You should get interviewed." And I was like, "No, this is about you. Like I have done a million interviews in my life. This is about you. You need to talk and learn how to represent. Talk about where you're from, why you're here, what you learned." And I watched it after. It was really cool. I was so proud of them. Like my Toshka Jacob, Owens, he's only 11. He turns 11 this week, and like he was riding every day, and they were carrying staffs. It rained, it was windy, it was hot, and they were so happy and so proud. Like I showed a few people from Canada the clips, and they're like, "That's the kind of stuff you only see in movies."
Mm,
Like
that is.
that's how powerful it was watching kids do this every day. And then it started off with like, and as the videos go, like 14, 15 riders, and then 40 riders, and then 100 riders, and then 300 riders. Sorry, hold on.
Well, while she's getting that, y'all make sure you guys love on her. Show our guest a lot of love. She's amazing, and I can't wait until we get down to get to know her and the nitty gritty. She's awesome. I think one time she was on Miss Daisy's live, and she was able to kind of just tell us a little bit about herself. And she is an incredible woman, like super incredible. Well, all of the women that I interview are incredible, but each of them have their distinct story and just their distinctness. So I can't wait.
There, sorry.
No, you're good. So it was like super theatrical. I saw that. I saw, like I said, because I knew a couple of people that had went themselves, and I saw the stories and like their stories on TikTok, and then also they would make like the videos they made, and it. Oh my gosh! And to know I was not far. Like, bro, I was in North Dakota. I could have went.
What could I do? It was historical. It was, and that's the thing that I didn't realize because Orville was like, we're gonna go to a ride this summer? And I was like, I'm gonna come. He's like, yeah, come ride. Just bring a saddle. And I was like, okay. And then I was getting ready, and he's like, you don't need to bring a saddle. Just come. And I had no idea what it was. I was just like, it's a horse ride. I've been on Unity rides as a teenager, which helped me with my addictions. It was awesome. So I was like, oh yeah, horse ride. Get to know people, eat outside, camp. Like, this is cool. Like, literally all I was thinking until I started hearing the stories every morning. And when we got to Lame Deer and the headsmen came and they started sharing stories, it was so funny. One morning, they were like, because they would do that every morning. Arapaho, are you here? And they would war cry and a woman would, "Lily," and then Cheyenne, are you here? Dakota, are you here? Lakota, are you here? And it was really empowering to see that every morning. And one morning it was funny because they were like, white people, are you here? And there was like two white ladies on the outside going, and these headsmen laughed and they were like, look at them, real proud of their genocide. I was like, oh my God, you're so funny.
I would have died, bro.
I was trying like to be respectful and laugh. I was like, oh,
Not,
oh my God.
bro,
No,
not
that
the
was
polite
funny.
auntie app. Like,
Oh my God, it was so funny. And then they would sing, and we would all the women who'd come to the front. We would smudge the horses, and we would sing them off, and they would go around four times. And when I got to ride that day, I think I rode from I don't remember where I rode from, but I did ride one day and from Brodus, and it was 11 miles. And I remember it. I haven't ridden in like I'm 43. 15 is the last time I rode. Like I got on a horse a couple times here in Saskatchewan, and like went riding with a couple people, but like that's trail riding. That's totally different. This was a ton of riders, and at the time we're like at 40 riders about that time, and they can't hear you. I lost my voice. The wind was blowing, and didn't remember how to gallop. And next thing I was just like, oh my God. And I was like, stop, stop. But I had no voice. And then they would come and ride beside me. Are you okay? I'm not okay. Do you see me screaming? They're like, we can see you, but we can't hear you screaming. Are you okay?
oh
I
my
was like, I
god.
forgot how to gallop. And they were like, oh, like this, we'll show you. And they showed me, which was really cool. But a couple times I just had to ride it out. Like, it was just hard because it was hot. My face was all red right here, and I was flustered, and my legs were sore, my back, my butt were sore, everything was my knees, and I was just like, this is wild, but I'm gonna go all the way. And it was was cool to ride with those kids because they'd come right up beside me and they'd be like, "You're doing a good job." Like these are kids encouraging a 43-year-old woman, but it was so beautiful and empowering to see. And then they would just get off their horse when we got to the camp and we'd circle up and we'd go feed our horses and they'd just bareback around the camp. And then they would rope each other and they would teach each other how to rope. And these are kids who would join from different communities, just hanging out with each other. And then every night we'd have a really good dinner and people would get to know each other. Like for me, I don't know if things have happened that weren't good in the past, but all I saw was community. All I saw was everything we say that we need in community as a social worker, as a therapist, as a youth worker, as an addictions counselor, all the things that we always say we wish we could have, we wish we could go back to. I saw it. And it was so beautiful to hear in the morning, drinking coffee at like 5 and having the elders singing and then sharing stories about their rodeo days. And Orville came one morning and was sharing stories about his rodeo days. And like, to me, it was community, you know? And then like having grandmothers who I had never seen before, had never met, just stopping me. Hannah.
Yeah, I was really, really disappointed when I heard that it was in Wyoming, and Wyoming is literally like, depending on where in Wyoming, it's like 3 hours for me. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was so sad. I was like, oh, I couldn't win. I was so close. Like, bruh, it just looked like something that you have to have had experience firsthand, like life changing.
It was very life changing. It was just, huh? Yeah. It was for like every instance. And then you know what's crazy? It's like when you go to the fair and you have a lemonade and you're like, this is so good. And then you go home and you're like, man, why didn't I get one? It was that kind of grief leaving. Like you don't realize the environmental factors that contributed to decompressing your nervous system every single day until it's not there as an environmental factor that's you're enveloped in. Like suddenly all the youth who relied on me as their tui every day just to talk to, just to vent to, to come sit in my car. Do you have any snacks? Like, yeah, I got some pop. And I would literally be in town and be like, I should get some pop for the kids. Like, and I just got to know them like that. Like a lot of them are on my social media now and messaging me like, I miss you, Auntie. How are you today? And they're just like randomly messaging me. And I'm like, this is good, but it's so hard. I miss them. Like just like, missing that camp life, missing these kids, all of the elders, all of the sisters that I met where we'd wake up and we'd sing, like really belt it out, all these Lakota songs, like the Lakota Rider song and or horse song. And it was just such a powerful community vibe that was so consistent. And then when we got there, like, and they were getting ready to go up for the charge, just watching these kids, adults and kids and elders, dressed up, painted up, riding up that cliff and going to the top and just being like, this is 2026, but that looks 1900-ish. That looked very much like we're watching it actually happen. Like, and then all the women looked up and I said, look, look. And they all started looking up and they all started leaning and I started recording it and I just started crying. So I was like, no. You'll never get to see something like that. It makes me emotional now, but you never get to see stuff like that. Like these are tribes coming together who never knew each other. Some of them never even met each other and they're just up there together. And then some of them were recording and they're carrying flags and they're going to the top. And when we went to the Little Bighorn ride to the to the Battle of Custer where he was taken out during the charge, watching all of those riders take over the hill in person. And before it all started, a baby fawn ran across. And that to me, that was like a symbol of our young people taking on that new responsibility of this power, right? And there was even a dog that was called Young Man, who came from Greengrass, who was even part of the charge. Wow. And we were all saying like everything that was a part of that day was a part of that day. Like hundreds of years later, and watching them come up and watching all of the people dressed up in their outfits. Some had headdresses, some were dog soldiers, and then there was people wearing like regular ribbon shirts and some just t-shirts, and there's kids and elders. But just watching them take over the hill like that and then come up and then go around and around. I was like crying. I was like, you know what? We have so many like demographic statistics that are so unhealthy and so negative, and it shows the outcome of colonialism. But this is the outcome of resilience. This is the
Mm.
outcome of blood memory. This is the outcome of women reteaching their children, men reteaching their sons and daughters. Like family dynamics came into play that day. Somebody taught those kids how to ride like that. Those old people who came up, and there's elders, and Cree would say Kateak. So the Kateak that came riding up, like they got to be a part of something that was so powerful. And they do this every year, I guess, but this was the 150th anniversary. And to watch this happen with all those people, and then the hundreds of people lining up to watch all over the place was like, holy smokes. Like, no wonder they tried to take us out. Look at how powerful we are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was crazy. It was just.
One more time for the people in the back, because people don't understand that. Like, I'm reading this book. I'm not sure you probably have heard of it. It's called The Rediscovery of America by Ned Blackhawk, and he really like goes into depth and goes into history of how at one point in time that it's not talked about, of course, in American history or American United States history, that the YT government couldn't make a move, couldn't make a move on this land without tribal government. Like they already knew, okay, they're not fuck withable. Like you can't. They're just that powerful. And it was for a long time. It was like that for hundreds of years, before you got what it is now. But we really truly are powerful people, very powerful people, and they see that. They see the power behind it. Not only do we have that power, but it's just how we are spiritually connected to each other, to things around us, and that for that just in and of itself is something that they don't have, and something that they really fear. So I can't wait. I want to go next year. If I'm here, I want to go next year. Are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna like ride more. I'm gonna get a saddle. I'm gonna try bring my own horses, or I'll take Orville's horses if he doesn't go. I don't know. But it was like, it was so funny too because we went to the camp one day and Cody couldn't get in. He didn't know where it was, and I was like, "I'll come meet you at the gate." And at the gate, they're like, "Are you Cheyenne?" And I was like, "No, I'm Cree." And he was like, "Uh." And I was like, but I'm Orville's daughter too. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, would he have not let me in? Like, what the fuck? And then we were just laughing about it because we had gotten in there, and a couple people had to address a couple pretendians during the ride, which is wild how they infiltrate that way, you know, like they try to find their way into spaces, but they were addressed. And I was thankful that our sisters, like my Sundance sister, had seen this individual who was carrying himself in a weird way, kind of like came up to me too and was like, I'm a part of this society, and I'm do this society, and I have this staff. And I was like, we don't talk like that. Like, we don't talk with ego in that way. Like, if somebody's a part of something, you usually never know unless you're a part of it. So somebody had brought it up, and the headsman had addressed him, and I was like, this is the way things should be done. Like, this is the way it needs to be done. Like, people need to be corrected, rules need to be followed, protocol needs to be ensured for protection, for safety. Like, that's huge to me considering my background and my experience with ceremony. Is if protocol is protected, then things can be safe, right? Yeah. And so I really appreciated watching that, and just being able to be there as an auntie and check the young boys and the young girls in conversation. If there was things that weren't being said in an appropriate manner, I was there to approach that in a good way and share that. And I really appreciated that. Like, they'd come over and they'd come sit with me, or are you okay? And did you eat? And I knew they were listening to me and that they were respecting my words because they cared, you know? And I think that kind of community way of being an auntie is important.
I feel like when you're in those, I've been able to go to Sundance 2 times in my life. Um, and even just like at Sundance, leaving the connections that you make with the family and just family in general, you miss it. You're like, I miss the family. I miss waking up, going to sleep, just being around, like being around family, and just phones away, just just being there in the moment present. It's a spiritual connection that not everybody will understand. So I can just imagine the energy that you were feeling there. Like that must have been wild. Hi, Marinita. So y'all, we haven't even officially started the interview. Like this is just pre-interview.
Oh,
Like, it's just that good.
but leaving ceremony, like on a neurological, like, in my professional perspective, your nervous system, it's decompressing when you hear a language, a native language being spoken. Your blood, your heart, your organs recognize that, and your body goes into a place of calm. And so when you're always like, when you go from going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're calm down, you're relaxed, then you got to go back to work. That's exactly what's happening, is your body is going back into survival mode, because you no longer have those constant connections and connection, with human beings every day, talking without your phone, without easy stimulation. It lowers your cortisol levels, and lowering your cortisol levels is why we were so powerful and could call the thunderstorms and shapeshift into animals, and do all the amazing, powerful things we did and do in ceremony. Like, it's due to the ability to ground your nervous system, to not have extreme hypervigilance, and to not be always in a space of like fight or flight.
Mm.
Most grounded ceremony people are the safest ones, because they're
Mm.
not there to take from you. They don't need anything from you. And they're knowing, they're observing you, and they're observing themselves. Like, and so
Mm.
when you leave ceremony, that's a head mentality space. Like, when you leave ceremony, everybody kind of comes out of that a little bit, because we go into hypervigilance and we go into fight or flight. We don't want to, nobody ever wants to, but it's part of survival mode and survival tactics, going back into work, being a parent, driving on the highway, going back into our cities. Like, it's violent. It's violence. And we have to, like, prepare and honor our survival tactics and going into it. So leaving ceremony creates a phase of grief, where we go into
Yes.
bargaining,
Yes.
negotiation, anger, sadness, acceptance, and back all over again, and over each time we leave ceremony, no matter what it is, or a feast, or a community event. Like, it's something that happens over and over.
And it
It
makes
is an attack.
sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense what you have to do after ceremony. We're not going to speak about it, but you know what you have to do. So it makes sense. You know what I mean? And you talking about it, like it's just all clicking. Like that makes complete sense. Cause I'm just like, why do I have to go back into the real world? Like, and it is, it's like that survival mode that we're not made for. Like, our spirit is not made to be in a capitalistic society. Like, it's just not. First of all, capitalism isn't sustainable, but let me not get on that subject because I can go on that subject. Y'all, like I said, we haven't even started the interview. This is just amazing conversations prior. So you had mentioned earlier that you're a therapist. So I kind of wanted to get a little bit of information from you on that aspect. So my first question would be cultural responsiveness. And how would you integrate cultural responsiveness and anti-oppressive frameworks into your therapeutic practices?
So I am a recovering crystal meth addict, 23 years clean, due to traditional medicines and ceremony. And when I got sober, the medicine people, my family, my mom, my grandpa, my grandma, that's who it was my family. They they taught me a different type of way to help people, because they were the ones who were helping me. And what I was taught was compassion. I was taught everybody has the ability to change if they have the ability to take responsibility, because nobody can take the credit of the mistakes that you've made. So nobody can take the credit for your sobriety. And whatever beautiful things you do in your life, it's all because of you. Even if community helps you, you still have to be able to take the credit for the good things you do, so you can also take the credit and accountability for the mistakes that you make. And in learning that, I thought, people need to know this. Like, there's so many people I know who are getting sober who don't know this. And I went back to school thinking I'm just going to get a good job. Like, I just got my grade 12. And they encouraged me, go get your bachelor's. And when I did, I said, what am I going to do with this? Like, what am I going to do with a bachelor's degree? And the elders in the school said, what would you do if you had no limits? If you could help people? Oh, that's going to make me emotional. But, I was homeless. I had nothing. I was drug-induced psychosis of schizophrenia, like hearing and seeing visual and audio hallucinations, not being able to remember anything, lost my job, my car, my daughter got apprehended, like I was in a bad place. And for me to had been like a year sober and be on welfare, that was huge to me. And for someone to say, no, you're going to be a helper. What do you want to do? We're going to give you, just whatever it is that you want to do, make it up. I was like, I wish that I could do for people what my grandma and my grandpa and my mom did for me. And they said, get a degree. You can do that. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't even remember everything. And they said, you will work on that. And so I continued going to ceremony, drinking medicine tea, drinking teas, going to sweats, going to what we call cellular restriction, deep trauma therapy. And one of the processes, it's called the journey with Brandon Bays. But my family, who are indigenous mental health therapists, remade it into an indigenous lens. And so they helped me to rewire my neurological pathways and my past pain, trauma experiences so that I would think differently. Rewiring your neurological pathways changes how you respond to trauma. So because I changed how I responded to trauma, I changed myself. I became smarter. I became more grounded. I became more focused, more calculated, and more aware of what needed to happen. And what needed to happen was people needed the space to be angry. People needed the space to know all of the things that bother them, that it's okay to be uncomfortable, and that anger doesn't mean rage. It doesn't mean violence. And we stop ourselves all the time from feeling our feelings. Sadness doesn't mean depression. It's just an emotion. And we can't get to the other side, right? Like, and I realized all of these things as I was doing my bachelor's degree. And I went into the field for about 12 years. And then I went and got my master's degree, which I graduated from in 2025. And I noticed in my master's degree, a huge part of my practice as a mental health therapist, because I've been doing this since 2018, was just learning how to hold space for people and being like, I am very much a Capricorn, but I am also a Gemini. And some people know what that means, but they don't. And for me, a lot of wearing a suit and saying big words just wasn't it. And being able to say like things like you're decompressing your nervous system, I can say that because I know you understand what that means, but I know that most people don't. And so as a therapist, I started thinking when I'm sitting with people and I would say, do you feel dysregulated right now? Do you know what that means? And if they'd say no, I'd say, okay. So I would explain, because I'm a poet, using metaphors, how to explain what dysregulation means, how to explain what decompressing means, how to explain when you're self-harming, what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go in your brain, so that they understand, I know they're not a bad person and they're just trying to feel better. Majority of people, because I did crack, crystal meth, cocaine, sold, did drugs, like was doing criminal things and was in the worst places. And I could still be a kind, loving, gentle person now because none of us are ever what happened to us, ever. No matter what we've been through, the victim mentality was something that I got shooken out of me when I went to Sundance when in my first year of sobriety. Was the aunties sat me down and said, check your fucking self. You need to know that what you did was not okay, but it's done now. Let it go. Get over it. There's way too much work to be done for you to sit here and sit in self-pity. Self-pity releases cortisol, adrenaline, and epinephrine. I can't say it right, but all of these stress hormones. And they said, if you're going to be stressed, you might as well go back and do some drugs. You might as well go back and party. But if you want to live a peaceful, happy, grounded life, you need to learn how to check yourself and take accountability. You need to learn how to be okay with, yeah, you made a mistake. Say it out loud, telling yourself, let it go, move forward. The only way out is through. And I started to see as a therapist, and I'd work with people, some people want advice. Some people just want to be listened to. Some people are ready to work on their stuff. Some people aren't. And to be careful of jargon, be careful of using big words, and using it if they understand it, and not using it if it doesn't need to be used. And then taking people out of the office, taking them to, do you want to make a ribbon skirt? Let's make a ribbon skirt. And then talking about what does that mean to them and sharing my story. Like, as a woman who had been a part of a cult, the Nathan Chasing Horse cult, and who had participated in helping, I think it was about 13 of us women who met and talked every day for a long time. And then 5 or 6, I think 6 of them went forward and testified against him. But this was like years of advocacy, years of speaking out about rape culture, years about talking about victim blaming and slut shaming in communities where misogyny and patriarchy are heavy run and the norm. And so it was hard. We got hated, we got slandered, I got fired from jobs. Like, it's not been fun. It's not been easy. But I learned that most people just want to hear, I believe you. I support you and I stand with you. And what do you want to do? How can I help you feel safe? They don't want to hear, well, what happened? They don't want to hear, and people who are getting sober, they don't want to hear, what kind of drugs did you do? What kind of gangs did you run with? Like, nobody wants to hear that. And I don't want to encourage it or romanticize it either. If people start talking about it, they do, but I usually stop them and say, how's that productive to your sobriety though? Let's go back to what that is. And let's just, I'm not blaming you, I'm not shaming you, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I still have cousins who run in sets. No blame or shame in that. People, honor your survival tactics. If that's where you're at, that's where you're at. But when you were ready to change your shit and you can clean your life up, you can come sit with me. We're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to talk about regulating your nervous system and learning why you live in front of and just trying to understand from not a therapist perspective, but from a girl who used to run in the streets. I want to help you be where I'm at. I know how I got here. I know the map. Let me share that with you, and let's see if you can do that. And if you don't want to do that, and it's not working, let's find something else. Let's figure it out for you, And it's been really hard, but really good, because over the last 10 years, because Nathan went to jail this year, but it's been 10 years that we've been fighting, I've had hundreds and hundreds of disclosures of powwow MCs, powwow singers, medicine people coming to me and saying, are you that girl who calls out rapist medicine men? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, fuck yeah. That's pretty dope. That's a pretty dope title. I'll take that. But I've always told them, like, I believe you. I just want to tell you I believe you. And go to a safe space for ceremony, get doctored, get wiped down, go pray, go sweat, bring cloth and tobacco, that this journey will be hard. Get some mentors with you to walk with you through it. Understand by going to a sexual assault therapy center closest to you to understand the terminology, what consent is, what victim blaming is. So you write the report properly, because they'll try to make you blame yourself. You got to go in there headstrong and knowing, that they're going to try to make you say, oh, yeah, well, maybe I did consent. Like, they'll ask you shit like that. The cops work from Core Correctional Practices, CCP. And Core Correctional Practices is based on corporal punishment. And that's based on, it's your fault that somebody murdered you. It's your fault that somebody raped you. It's your fault that somebody beat you or you're in a domestic violent relationship. That's where they work from. They never work from prevention. They don't work from intervention. They don't work from a healing perspective or a holistic perspective. So understanding that, people need to go to a sexual assault therapy center to get therapy, so that when they go in, they know, no, I didn't consent. I know what consent is. I decided it was uncomfortable, and I went, that was me saying no. I'm writing that down. And teaching people to write reports like that is empowering, but also teaching them that nothing might happen. You might walk out, they might not get charged. You got to be able to go home and know that you told your story. You empowered yourself. You realized it was not your fault what happened to you. And now you got to keep walking forward, knowing that your body boundaries got to be on 100 now. You got to strengthen your idea of body boundaries. Not that it's our fault or that we should teach people to not get raped, but predators don't go after people who are wearing bikinis or miniskirts. Rapists and pedophiles, according to research and statistics, they go after vulnerability. They go after if you got no men around you, and most of our Indigenous women don't. They go after to see if you're a single parent. Do you have addictions? Are you struggling with your life? Do you paint a very victim mentality life? Do you talk a lot about your life on social media where you're really struggling all the time? They'll come for you like that. They'll look for that because they want to make you think they're going to save you so they can groom you and your children. Like, that's what predators do. They're not coming for red lipstick, red dresses, mini skirts, and booty shorts. They're not coming for that. If you were wearing booty shorts and you're wearing red lipstick, but you're out here saying, you know what? It's not mini skirts and alcohol that make rapists rape. It's rapists. They ain't gonna talk to you. They're not gonna come 1 inch close to you because they know you're gonna call them out. They know you could be naked, and it's still up to a person to not touch you. It has nothing to do with our bodies, how we look, what we're wearing or not wearing, or whether we're on drugs or not, right? Or drinking, or if it's our husband. Like these things are so important to know. But the messy part of this whole process, like this has been a spiritual journey, and this has been a scholarly journey, a research journey, is that we're right in the middle of the tornado of this. Healing is messy. And us women, and this is something I was talking to myself because I talk to myself a lot and I reflect, we're not going to realize how heavy patriarchy is until we stop perpetuating internalized misogyny. When we as women stop slut shaming ourselves because we feel like we look slutty, or we start forgiving ourselves for all the times we victim blamed our children or our families or our sisters for wearing a miniskirt or for sleeping around. The minute we stop encouraging and enabling the patriarchy, the second it creates more weakness in the patriarchy. That patriarchy is supported by women. We are the majority. Women are the majority. So it's like hard for us to be like feminism this, and we can't talk about feminism because in indigenous perspective, we don't believe in equality. We believe that everybody has a role and a responsibility, and everybody is important. Nobody is above anybody. Everybody has a job to do, and none of those jobs are better than the other. In a community way, somebody has to do something, and there's no gendering to that in regards to feminism and matriarchy or matrilineal perspectives. But it's so important when we're trying to dissect these mentalities and these ideologies and the idea of what is being taught, is that we have to have compassion for each other, for our elders, for our men, for us as women. We have to have compassion for like all the people who are learning how to dismantle patriarchy. A lot of it is taking a step back and going, you know what? The only way I'm going to learn how to dismantle patriarchy is to know how I perpetuated it. The only way I'm going to learn how to, work with addictions is to know what addictions I struggle with. The only way to decolonize anything is to stop terming and defining indigenous ways of being, thinking, language, culture, songs. We aren't a definitive people. We could never be defined. We are a descriptive people. Language is descriptive. It is not definitive in every language. We don't have universal teachings, but we do have a way of being. And the thing is that we never changed protocol or ceremony, but what did change was people forgot the sacredness. People forgot the rules. People forgot the laws, like kinship law. If you're a medicine man and you're helping me, you should not be breaking ethics by trying to ask me on a date. Ethics. You should not be alone with me in a room if you are doctoring me. Your aunties, your sisters, your wife should be there with me because you don't know my trauma and because I may not feel comfortable. And if frequency is the thing that activates the medicine and helps the medicine man or woman to do the work that they got to do, then people like Nathan Chasing Horse would have never gotten as far as he did if we were following protocol. Mm-hmm. There's just way too many cherry-picked ceremonial medicine bundle keepers, way too many people who are doing it out of ego instead of following protocol. And there's just like, and then that is a part of the patriarchy, is that capitalism, that money, that fame, the popularity they think they're going to get. Like calling out patriarchy never made me famous. It made me hated. It made me quit dancing powwow because I was hated by all of these women and men. I got slandered on Facebook 2018 for like 2 years from a woman who was the mother of somebody that my ex-husband was cheating on me with. And I had left my ex-husband because he was a pedophile. But I couldn't tell that story because that wasn't my story to tell. So I couldn't go on social media as an ethics perspective and say, oh, well, I left because of this, not because of that. I had to just let it be. That's unfortunately the unraveling of patriarchy and misogyny. and being a safe person and knowing that I may feel unsafe in the world, but if I tell my story and I say, but that's only my story to tell, and then somebody else goes and tells it and I didn't say they could, that's not a safe person. So I had to follow my own advice and it hurt. It broke me. I was depressed. It was terrible. But it was just like a teaching moment where I was like, okay, each time I tell myself, oh my God, there's guys over there and I'm dressed way too sexy. I feel so uncomfortable and I blame myself. I got to stop and go, not my fault, not my problem. I didn't do that. I can look at them and say, hey, don't stare. That's inappropriate. And it feels uncomfortable. It feels like they could kill me. It feels, or unalive me. Sorry, TikTok. It feels like they could do anything to me because they could. And these are the things that we deal with as women. But learning boundaries, learning safe space, learning protective strategies, taking Muay Thai, kickboxing, taking jujitsu in the last 10 years because of those realities is a huge part of me learning what does it mean to dismantle patriarchy. It's not just let's call out all the abusers, because unfortunately for us indigenous people, that's our fathers, that's our grandpas, that's our cousins, our brothers, those are our sisters, our mothers, our aunts, our grandmas. These are our elders, our bundle keepers, our society runners, our aim leaders. It's everybody. It's everybody. We can't just villainize our people and be like, all right, you got to go. We used to be able to do that, but now we have to have a different approach. And in my research, what I have found is we literally have to just keep having these conversations until people start to feel comfortable enough dismantling it in their own psyche, in their own daily lives, so that you start hearing things like what I'm hearing when I hear men say something to me like, I'm sorry, that's so unfortunate they victim blamed you. Like, what? You know what victim blaming is? We're getting somewhere. The conversation is circling. I'm meeting men who know what mansplaining is, who know what patriarchy is. I'm meeting young girls who are saying, that's so unfortunate she called her that, and that you're wearing a skirt that short because that's slut shaming. You shouldn't do that. And I'm going, oh my God, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. 10 years ago, I wore a ribbon skirt and they said, oh, she's following Nathan chasing Horace. Oh my God. She just wants to be a wife. And then I left and they said, oh, she just didn't get wife. She's just mad. He didn't even assault her. Like, that's where we were 10 years ago. And now to see people talking about it on social media, like there's a huge clump of people who are still going, well, you shouldn't wear that with a ribbon skirt. Like, okay, maybe I wouldn't ever wear that with a ribbon skirt, a crop top, or a scarf on my boobs or whatever. Maybe I wouldn't wear that, but doesn't mean you should slut shame somebody else or body shame someone else, because that's not your body. That's not your choice. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know if are you going to teach them? Are you going to mentor them? You're going to take them under your wing? You're going to love them up and teach them how to not hypersexualize themselves? You're going to comfort them and teach them about how to respect themselves and how to know when that you can wear that in a ceremony and when you can't wear something in a ceremony, when you can wear something in a social gathering and when you can't, when it's inappropriate, not because you're not trying to tempt the men, but just because it's inappropriate. Like, there's a huge difference. And I've had this conversation with many ceremony sisters where they're like, yeah, but Tala, would you wear that? And I'm like, that's not the point. The point isn't to sit and talk about a girl who comes in wearing a miniskirt or booty shorts at a ceremony and going, oh, she shouldn't be wearing that. Well, do you have an extra skirt? Do you have time to be her sister and her auntie and talk to her about how we carry ourselves in ceremony, how we don't show our skin because it's inappropriate, because we're not there to meet a partner, and because we are aware that in this day and age, as much as we are dismantling patriarchy and calling out misogyny, we have to be aware of the realities of the fact that misogyny and patriarchy raise our men, and they teach them to sexualize and objectify women. So knowing that, it's like going in a room with a bunch of crystal meth pipes with the crystal meth addicts and going, but you're not going to smoke it because you know that's wrong, right? Like, you can't do that. We can't expect people to just know, or men to just fall in line. We can't do that. We have to have conversations. And that means learning what body boundaries is, body autonomy. When you get into a relationship, sharing that with your partner. Small steps. Hey, have you ever been allowed to say no as a man? Have you? Like, all the women in here, ask the men you know. Have you ever been allowed to say no? ask men that. That's how we dismantle patriarchy. That's another step that we don't address enough. We don't ask our men, hey, do you feel safe in your body? And anytime women have come to try to hug you, have you said no? Do you know that you can say no?
Mm.
Because when you empower men like that, it's so powerful because then they start to understand why you do it. And then you can both back each other up and you can both empower each other and keep that space that way. You know, my partner, we were talking about, I said, I don't like it when men try to hug me and I don't want to hug them. And I just go, oh, hi. And they go to hug me and I go, and I just kind of like, And he said, just put your hand out and do this. And I was like, I needed a man to say that. I did. It was empowering. And so I started doing that. No, no, just a handshake is fine. And it felt more empowering. And because I don't want to hug. I don't like to hug. I'm not a hugger. If I'm with my partner or my children, I'm a hugger, but not with random strangers. I don't like it. And my body autonomy had always taken a hit. And to me, it's violence to walk up to people you don't know and to hug them or to be in their space or to even stare at people. Like, to me, that's violence because it's triggering. And learning all of this stuff is like, it's crazy because my little me from 2015 when I was in the circle and I was at Bear Butte and I was being told all these crazy things about ceremony and being told to carry myself in a certain way is so proud of me. Like this year I spoke at World Peace and Prayer Day and I shared my story on Bear Butte, the same place I was assaulted by Nathan. And I shared my story about how this is not okay. You went to jail. You were held accountable. And this is what's going to continue happening. And I knew it was being broadcasted. And I remember saying, and just know this set a precedent. And if you as a medicine man is out there and you have caused harm, just know that we're watching you and we're aware. And this is not going to be allowed anymore. And you will be called out and it will be addressed. And if it isn't addressed by the legal courts, something will come for you. And I know that now. We see that now and it has been proven. This is not allowed. And it was so empowering. Like at first I cried. Then when I got up there and I shared, I had people coming up to me and talking to me about their experiences and people who'd been following my story for years. And then to go back on the ride and then ride on a horse after that and just be like, I'm 43 and life is different and I'm safe now. I can go to ceremony now. And I know if somebody tried to talk to me or pull me aside, I'd say, I don't need to be alone with you over here. Where's your wife? Where's your sister? Where's your aunt? I don't need to talk to you alone. Or if I see it happening, I can go up there. What are you doing? You don't talk to her alone. That's inappropriate. Don't do that. You shouldn't be alone talking to a woman in the dark, in the corner. Like that's what Nathan used to do to me, is he used to call me into the dark and talk to me in the corner of Bear Butte on the bridge and stuff like that. And there was all these young girls in the circle who he called nieces, who he was grooming. And now that I'm in this space, I've had hundreds and hundreds of disclosures of different medicine men who still do this stuff, who were still doing what Nathan is doing, what he did. There are people who do that all over North and South Dakota, all over Canada. Like it happens. It still happens. And so that's why we have to keep having these conversations. We have to keep talking about it, saying that, if you're going to see me somewhere, I'm probably going to be wearing regular clothes, a hoodie and sweats. I'm a tomboy. I might be wearing a bun and hoops. I used to break dance. Like, I'm not always going to be traditional. Sometimes I'll be wearing a ribbon skirt and a t-shirt, but I will always be in a way where I carry myself in a good way. And I'm not preaching modesty and I'm not preaching submission. I'm not teaching that. To me, I'm teaching the fact that I'm grounded, I'm happy, I am driven, I am passionate, and I'm safe. And that, to me, is the epitome of actually following the Red Road teachings that I initially thought I was following when I was in the circle, when I thought I was being a disciplined ceremony woman, but I wasn't. I was being abused. And there are so many people, we don't realize how many of us fall into cult mentality going into ceremony. That if you aren't allowed to question it, you're in a cult. Period. When we did an interview and we did an interview in Toronto here in Canada, and a psychologist came after, and it was girls who had been in the circle, and there was a couple of us who got interviewed, And after we were done, there was a psychologist to talk to us. So she came and talked to me and she said, I work with people recovering from cults. And it was like, that's me, isn't it? That's me. That was us. We were in a cult. And she was like, yeah. How do you feel? Where are you at now? And we had this big conversation for like 2 hours. But after that conversation, I sat and looked at all the churches that I'd been to in my early days of recovering from crystal meth. And I looked at all the sundances I'd been to and all the ceremonies I'd been to and different ceremonial circles I'd been to. And I thought, damn, we're culty people. We are so dysregulated from lack of community dynamics, healthy family systems, that we move quickly into toxicity of a cult mentality. And it's literally gang all the way. People don't realize that we are very gang mentality, cult mentality when it comes to ceremony, when it comes to our communities, but we are. And the only way to dismantle that is to also realize where we are doing that, where we are saying, well, let's not talk about it because it's so-and-so and they're a good person. Well, let's not bring it up because even though it bothers me, I don't want everybody to feel uncomfortable. And we forget about this. Individualism that does exist. Individualism doesn't exist in the ways of being in ceremony or community dynamics. If we're building a Sundance Harbor together, individualism doesn't exist. I understand that. I do. But terminology is important. Individualism doesn't exist when it comes to doing community things. However, you as an individual need to be able to be grounded, focused, in a good headspace when you're in ceremony, when you're in community, when you're at work, when you're in school. That is, to me, being a good relative, being able to carry yourself in a good way where you're not taking up space, where you're not trying to trauma dump on everybody and sharing really, triggering things with people who are uncomfortable and not knowing if they even feel safe talking about their own stuff. Like awareness, self-awareness, reading the room, social cues, all of that is not common sense. That is having a regulated nervous system. And we all expect so much from each other, but goddamn, we come from a war-torn world. We are apocalyptic people.
That part.
And we we forget. Like, why don't you ride a horse? Why isn't your hair long? Why is your hair dyed all these different colors? Why do you have all these piercings? Like, do you know where my grandfather is? Because I don't. Do you know who my great-great-grandmother is? Because I don't. We're just so displaced. Like, the teachings that were supposed to come into my bloodline, they went to residential school. And they went to foster care. And then they went to foster care. And then they went to 12 foster homes. Somewhere in there, they weren't even allowed to speak their language. There was no songs passed down. There was no family dynamics, seeing spirits, having dreams. None of that was talked about. And then suddenly you expect me to speak fluent. Why? We have so much lack of compassion when that's one of the greatest laws in our teachings, And when we want to do ceremony, like I used to do crack. I used to do meth. If they would have closed the door on me and said, sorry, you're gang related, you're a drug dealer, you do meth, you can't come in, I would not be the person I am today. But instead they said, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? 2002, they said that to me and my grandpa. And I said, I just want a home that has food in the fridge. And I want a roof over my head. I want a car to drive to work. I want to come home to my daughter and take care of her and, make dinner and have a safe place where there's no drugs, there's no gangs, there's no violence. It's a safe home. That's all I want. And I remember my grandpa saying, you don't ask for much, but we'll do that. We'll smoke this pipe and we'll talk to the tobacco and you're going to create a covenant. You're going to create a relationship with the Creator again because you forgot. It's always there, just waiting for you. You just have to reconnect. And I was like, okay. So we prayed every week. I went to sweat every weekend. My grandma gave me a milk jug gallon of medicine tea, which flushed the drugs out of my system. They took me to ceremony. Then they took me to therapy with my Tatusis family. And I started learning how to rewire my neurological pathways. And so now, as a therapist, as an addictions counselor, as an advocate, a ribbon skirt teacher, for me, it's always like, if you want help, I can help you. I can walk you through it. You got to do the work. I'm not doing anything except facilitating. I'm going to show you the map. I'm going to show you the landmarks of what you got to go through to get there. You have to do the work. And it's going to be hard, but it's so simple. It's literally just, you just got to keep going. And the more you know, the less you know. The more you learn, the less you know. And the more humble you become, the more aware you become of how much control we don't have. As a drug dealer, as an ex crystal meth addict, all I wanted was control. I had come from an abusive relationship. I had come from all of this stuff I never got to talk about. I just wanted to control the outcome. Now, as a ceremony girl, it's like I have no control. I have no ability to understand where I'm going with my life and how I'm doing things. But I'm starting to understand it now. I'm starting to understand that every day, like in AA, we used to say, you got to give the power over.
Mm. I could listen to you all day. I'm like, I'm like, by now, I would have done like 3, 4, 5 questions in. I'm just listening. I want you to know, like, Creator, you are powerful. Creator took his time with you, okay, or her time, his or her time with you. I believe God's a woman, but that's just my own. um, but you are amazing. So there was a
Thank
couple of
you.
questions. Yes, earlier in the live, people were saying if you are accepting any new clients.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How can people? I know we've kind of jumped into it, and I usually ask how can people get a hold of you, or like if there's a website, or if they can follow you on TikTok. What is a way that people can get a hold to you?
I have a Psychology Today profile. And you can look up my name on there, and then people can message me. I've had people who are recovering from sexual assault message me, who just want me to talk to their kids to kind of just validate their experience, and so they can have somebody to talk to. Or if people have questions about recovery from addictions, or just practices and processes on indigenous ways of therapy, like some of those things people aren't aware of those things, and so I share some of that. But if they message me on Psychology Today, or if they message me, sorry, my family just came in.
No,
But
you're good.
if they message me on here, even I can send the link for their Psychology Today.
Awesome, awesome. So you took all of my questions, which is a good thing because you did. Let me sit back and let you do your thing. So I think you kind of touched on it. Do you incorporate like traditional or cultural healing practices in your therapy? Or how does that look like? Or for people who are indigenous or traditional?
Yeah. So in my practice as a mental health therapist, some of the things that I do that is for me holistic is I ask people if they want to smudge. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then I express and explain that with some of my clients are ceremonial people. And so I can explain to them that when you are speaking your language, when you are singing your traditional songs, I explain how decompression happens in ceremony and how that is therapeutic, how being on the land is therapeutic, how singing to your water is therapeutic, praying to your water. And I show them scientific facts and research and data that proves that when you speak to your water, or when you like there are Dr. Emoto. Hi, my baby. Hi. My baby just got back.
Hi.
So like there's a study about if you swear at water, it becomes a different consistency that doesn't look nice. And if you speak love into water, it becomes a beautiful consistency and it makes a beautiful design. We are 80% water. So the way you speak to yourself has a huge impact on your nervous system. When you smudge, you change the molecular frequency of the neurons within your brain. It's not just smoke that you're smelling that smells good. You're actually changing the molecular frequency of your brain, and your nervous system is responding. When you drink traditional medicines, again, you are changing the molecular frequency of your second brain, your gut, your stomach, when you drink traditional tea. When you are in ceremony, you are connecting to not only the land, the earth, like if it's a sweat, the rocks, the water, the fire, the air. You are also connecting to the dimensional beings, like our ancestors and ceremonial beings. Sorry, some of the comments are. Okay,
You
hold
see what
on.
you did, Raven? Just all messed us up here.
I was like, what? Caught me off
um,
guard.
right. Just incriminating yourself right now.
Yeah.
um, so how do you navigate often blurred boundaries between professional slash community relationships, which are common when working closely in indigenous communities? How do you navigate just keeping that professional and personal boundary?
So I will see community members who are clients out in the world, and I always say when we meet as client and therapist relationship, if I see you out in the world, you don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. We don't need to know each other. If you want to keep me as a secret, safe person that only you know is your safe person, we can do that. I don't have to say hello. I don't even have to look at you. I can pretend I don't know you. And sometimes that's the best way because people want to keep their safe people private sometimes. And sometimes they'll see me and be like, oh my God, I need to talk to you. Like something happened this week and I need to talk. I'm like, okay, not right now. We're not going to do that right now because this isn't the space. It's not safe. You'll text me, we'll make an appointment, and then we'll share it there. Save it till then. Take some tools, do some breathing, help yourself decompress until then. But for now, like journal it if you need to, but we can't share it right here. Sometimes people message me on social media, they start venting, and I always say, I hear you, but I can't do this right now on a social media app because it's unsafe. There is no protection for you or me. If you start going into a space where you feel unsafe in your body, I can't help you. It's better for in person or on the phone.
Mm.
And so it's just boundaries and just learning how to communicate boundaries and learning how to communicate to people because when they are dysregulated, people are impulsive.
Mm.
And so it's just learning how to know that.
And that's really important. Like, um, I have in my family we deal with some mental health issues, and like one of my aunties, she has bipolar schizophrenia or borderline schizophrenia with like bipolar tendency or something like that. But people don't understand when people are on their highs and when they're on their lows or when they're in their manic phase, they can become a little erratic, and you have to learn to catch that and make sure that they get the help that they need, however that looks like. So I'm really glad that you do what you do. We need more people. We need more women, more indigenous women like you. Like if we can get
Oh,
a thousand Talas, like all over, all over.
thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely it's hard because my ego does get caught up sometimes where I think like that too. But like I lack compassion sometimes. My old gangster comes out a lot, and I want to check people because I'm like, what are you doing? You're being toxic. Like, don't gossip about the clients or don't yell in my face. Like, don't come at me like that. Like, don't go above me and break the chain of command. Like, you're breaking the rules of therapy and ethics. And I get mad and I want to check people, but I have to go, it's okay. Some people don't have the same resources and supports that I do. I gotta wait until I'm calm and I can have a conversation with them if it's worth it, if it's gonna be productive. If not, I just need to take a breather and I gotta let it go. And it's hard because I get anxiety, I get overstimulated, I get anxious, I get annoyed, I get angry. There are so many toxic, misogynistic women in the world of ceremony, in the world of therapy, who are, male centered and then don't understand how that's harmful. How we like hate on women who wear burqas and cover their bodies. Like, would you hate on a woman who had a black eye and
Mm,
tells her, what are you doing? What are you like? What? This is misogyny. This isn't us. We're
yeah.
just trying to do the best we have with what we are doing with the resources and supports that are available to us. We
Hmm.
all are. Even the people on the streets, even the people selling drugs, even people in gangs, even the people who are like doing crazy, crazy things. They are literally doing the best they can with the resources and supports they have. If everybody had better resources and supports, they would respond different. How we respond is based on our environmental factors. And some people are raised to be monsters. Unfortunately, the theory of nature versus nurture, it exists. in indigenous communities where we are created. The jail system helps us to be heavy gangster energy all the time because we have to live in hypervigilance and we are post apocalyptic people living in a third world countries in our communities
Yeah.
and somehow become doctors and social workers and therapists, somehow continue to learn our language and to dance again,
Isn't
to
that a
speak
testament
again.
though to our spirit
Yeah,
and our like not only our spirit but just our resilience? Like we yeah, in the comments. We have went through so much, survived so much, yet we still are like, let's heal. Let's heal. Let's be there. Let's, show the next generation and the people coming after us what we didn't necessarily have. Like, God, that's such a testament to who we are, to our resilience.
yeah, and like, and it's something that I use when people will say, I can't do it. Like, what you mean you can't? Why? Well, because of where I come from, because I would have been through. Do you know what I've been through? Let me tell you a couple stories, and let me explain that I could have made a different choice. I could still make a different choice. I could run a gang. I could run. I could be a drug lord. I could do so many things. I could be influential in a negative way if I wanted to. But it's all about choice and how is that going to affect and impact my children, my community, my home, my nervous system. How's that going to help me? Like these are the things we have to ask ourselves. And because we're so hyper vigilant and fight or flight all the time, we don't have time, energy, or space to ask ourselves, how is this going to impact my future? If I had time or energy or space before, when I was doing crystal meth, I would have. I don't have one. Like if I had that space, I probably would have made different choices.
Hmm.
But a
Wow.
lot of our people don't have those choices or those supports.
Mm-mm.
And I didn't feel safe telling anybody what I was going through. I just thought, I didn't want to be a burden. I'm going to make a choice to respond with violence to myself by doing drugs and getting high because I just want to feel better. I don't want to feel this anymore. And I didn't realize the consequences. Once I had been homeless, I was in the streets and I was walking around on meth after 4 days of not eating or sleeping and I was hallucinating. It was like, oh shit, I'm where I never thought I would be. I was just trying to feel better. And so
Mm.
I know when I see our relatives who are homeless and on the streets and they're twitching and their nerves are shot and they're just trying to like ask for a smoke, like I know where they're coming from. And that's when I go, did you eat today? Are you okay? How are you feeling? Sometimes they'll respond with, thank you for asking. Sometimes I'm like, no, I didn't eat today. I'm like, all right, I'll get you something. And I'll just walk away. And I'm not going to record it. I'm not going to take a picture because nobody ever did that to me. And we got to remember those are our relatives, those are aunties, those are medicine people. Those are gifted ones. You don't know. You don't know. That could be a bloodline chief. That could be the second coming of the new language keepers. We don't know. So it's important to always be, kind and just to have compassion, not to be pushovers, not to let people walk all over us, but to understand that the middle is regulated nervous system space. That's the middle ground. It's just as long as my nervous system doesn't get dysregulated. If I feel uncomfortable around people and my nervous system starts to get dysregulated, or I don't feel trusting around them because they're toxic or gossipy or angry or whatever, like that's how I dictate who I put myself around and where I go in order to maintain my sobriety, to maintain my walk in this world.
Yeah. So I want to say one thing before I'll have somebody come up and ask you a question from the audience, but I want to say thank you for being just so transparent in who you are, what you've overcame, because you continue to inspire us. Like sometimes, even me, like I'm like, should I say it? Like because TikTok, just social media platforms, people are not very kind, and unfortunately, we do have a lot of lateral violence within our community. And they will use what you say and twist it and turn it and spin it into a narrative that is not what you meant. But hearing your story and hearing that you continue to tell your story, to just be one, a powerhouse, but two, somebody that women can look up to. Young women, women your age, even older women. Like, you're very inspiring. You know, like, I'm sitting here, I'm listening, I'm digesting everything that you're saying, and you have a lot. Like, you have like the power of 1,000 ancestors behind you. Like, you
Appreciate that.
truly do.
Appreciate that.
I'm gonna bring somebody up. Hopefully, they're available to come up. But this person has continuously put in the comments how you've inspired her. So hopefully, she can come up and ask you a question or two. But before she comes, or while she's coming, if she has an opportunity to, um, if you could have one thing that you leave your children as a legacy, what would that be? What would you want them to remember you by?
Trying to teach them to find a safe space, even if that's not always me,
Mm,
because I'm not always going to be here. And that makes me emotional. But I want them to find something in this world that makes them feel safe, so they have somewhere to run. Because I think that was the biggest thing for me, was I felt like in the violence that I was experiencing as a young woman in my relationship for the first time as a 19-year-old, I felt like I had nowhere to run. And I could have told somebody, but I didn't feel like it was that bad yet.
mm,
And had I kind of understood a different space, had I maybe thought, it's okay, I'm going to run and he's not going to chase me and he's not going to hurt me, then maybe I would have thought different. But always just explaining those realities to my daughters and to my sons, like, these are realities that could happen. This is where you can run. This is what you can do.
that's powerful. Hi, Nisi.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm good. Um, Tala, this is my sister Nisi. She is
Hello.
she's also truly such an amazing person. She inspires me to go back to school. She inspires me in so many ways. So I'm really honored to have both of you up here, because you guys are like big sisters to me. So, Nisi, would you like to ask Sister Tala something?
I mean, I don't have any questions, but I have been following Tala for a little minute. And today, hearing her story and like just getting to know you, I felt your heart. I felt you. I can hear your story. I feel like I've walked in similar paths. Lately, I've been lacking motivation when it came to school, so I took time off. Um, but you inspire me, like watching your TikToks. I've heard you talk about like preparing to get your master's, and I watched the whole thing, every word you said, and I was like, God, I have to get back. Like, I really need to find my motivation, and you're helping me. Just hearing your story today. And so when Gina puts this up on YouTube, I'm going to rewatch it because I know I missed the beginning, but you're dropping so much and you're inspiring, you know, I might even be your age, if not maybe a little older. I don't know, but you're inspiring me. And I know like it's really important. It's hard to share our stories sometimes, but like just hearing you do it, it was amazing. And I truly just wanted to give you your flowers. Like, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to give you your flowers. You know,
Thank you.
you're
I
just,
appreciate
it was
it.
beautiful, and it moved me. I was getting teary. I was getting emotional. So no questions. Just wanted to give you your flowers, tell you how amazing you are. And I don't know you personally, but I feel proud, you know, to like see you on here, to hear your story, and to where you've been and where you are now. So
Mm,
just sending you love and your flowers.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
thank you, Miss Nisi. Okay, I will bring one more up. Hopefully she's also able to come up. This is my sister from another mister. Honestly, I've this year, if I can be completely honest, I've been talking about it for a little bit. I really, when I pray, I ask for women, strong women to be around me. I don't know what it was or is like here recently. I do, thankfully. But I just that was something that I wanted to work on in my personal life, was having good women around me. Good women around me to keep me accountable, good women around me to push me. So I feel like this year, even including yourself, Tala, like this year, I've really have been blessed to come across some amazing freaking women. Amazing women. Like, y'all keep me sharp. Steel sharpens steel for sure. So Sajida, um, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Is there anything you would like to ask or to tell Tala?
Man, I don't even have a question. I just wanted to thank her for her vulnerability and for her words. Like, I think that there's a saying that really bothers me. They always say like hurt people hurt people. I don't believe in that. I think sometimes hurt people heal people.
Mm,
It is about what you do with that hurt. And I think some of the best healers have been people that have been through the worst of things in life. So I wanted to thank you for using your voice and inspiring everyone here today. Um,
Thank you.
thank you.
you're
Okay.
beautiful. You're beautiful. I wanted to say that too.
Thank you. That means a lot because I just chipped my tooth and I've been just like super insecure about it.
Where? Show me because I chipped mine too. Ah! Listen, a lot of people be making fun of my teeth. They don't know. I had four little ones, right? And on my fourth one, I was pregnant 3 months after I had my third one. Okay? So mis rodillas todavía, my knees were still recuperating. And I had the great idea to have cacahuates. I
Peanuts.
had some peanuts.
Uh,
Yeah, I had some peanuts and one of them chipped my tooth off. I was like, no, this bag of $2 peanuts just costed me. I still haven't gotten it fixed. But I didn't even notice it. So I think we notice more at ourselves because we look at ourselves every day.
Yeah.
You know, and if people don't like it, if people don't like your chipped tooth, you can send them the bill. Okay? They can pay for it.
No.
that part. But no, I didn't notice it. And that's why too, yes, of course, Daisy. That's why too, I don't like showing this part when I smile. Well, besides like my gap was a huge insecurity for half my life. But I recently also I had like chipped this tooth, so I ended up having to just take it out. And so I'm like on
Bitch, because why did I see this video that said, why are all the bad bitches missing a side tooth? And it was a compilation of like girls that didn't
Oh
have
my
a side
god.
tooth at the top.
side tooth.
Eh,
Sorry.
period. Y'all could listen. And I agree with Carly or Curly. I don't know why I said Carly. Um, your gap is very like it's very you. And if you notice the women that have the gap, girl, I think I sent you a video. ¿Sí lo viste? She don't be watching. Oh, she did see it. She did see it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Exactly. Everybody nowadays wants to look the same, and it really bothers me. Everybody has the same nose, the same lips, the same everything. They look like copias una de las otras. So let us be unique with our chip tooth. Match my chip
Oh,
tooth. I know,
I
but thank you so
know.
much. How would you say thank you in your indigenous? I want to say it in your language.
Nanaskamun.
One more time.
Nanaskamun.
Nanaskamon. Nanaskamon. Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you. You can drop me for Daisy, Gina.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I invited Daisy. She said she does have a question. So hopefully she can come up. Daisy, I invited you, Mama. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Here we go.
There we go. It just took me a minute. Hello, Tala. Good to
Hi,
see
Christine.
you. I was just in the comments too saying like we need to do another music day. That day was so chill. We
Yeah,
were
that was so fun.
just hanging out.
Caught that.
So my question for you is being that you are someone who, you know, takes all of this energy, right? When you're helping others heal from everything that they're going through, like what do you do for yourself to not internalize that, to not let that like hurt you or bring you back? Like what do you do for yourself? Like for anyone who like takes energy as well, an empath, like what would you recommend for them? So I guess it's a two questions.
Um, well, as I'm getting older and go to ceremony more, everything's louder now. And so I used to be really, really social, and I'd like to even go to the clubs, even though I didn't drink. And I liked to go to concerts, and I'd like to be around a lot of people. But the more aware I am, the more louder the world has become. And so I've become more isolated to protect my energy. I don't go around too many people anymore. I am more to myself. I'm selective of the people that I like to go around when I can be. Sometimes you can't be selective. You just have to ground yourself. And so I take medicines with me everywhere I go and try to self care when I can. And it's just the reality that as a helper, the people you're going to help are going to hurt you. That's a reality we have to accept, because when people are hurting, they can't see you. They only see their pain. And you have to accept that it's not personal. And I have to tell myself that, like, this isn't personal. This isn't personal. Even when you're in a relationship with someone, or it's your family or your children, it's never personal. It's something they're going through within themselves when they're trying to hurt you or cause pain to you or say not nice things to you. It's not that they're trying to hurt you. They just don't feel good in themselves in the moment. Right. And it's hard. There's times where I've taken it personally. There's times where I've been attacked, or people have said not kind things to me, or made me feel little, or like I was nothing. And I just have to, sometimes I just call my mom. Shh. But sometimes I call my mom, and my mom's like, well, just gonna beat them up. My mom's cool like that. I call my ceremony family, or I quill, or I speed, or I sew, or I watch Dracula movies. Like I just find things that I try to find. Moving water really helps me, like creeks, waterfalls. Those really decompress my nervous system. Just things that I know help me: going to ceremonies, traveling, riding horses, being around horses. Like those things help me. So you have to find out what helps you, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel calm. Who are your safe people? Who are the people that you can call and not going to judge you? They're not going to give you advice. They're not going to. Tana, stop. Like those people are part of your toolbox. You have to have a toolbox. What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel calm? And just you just can't control people. Some people are just don't feel good and they make you feel icky being around them. They're unpleasant. You have to be able to know how to wipe yourself down and go take a cold shower, drink some tea, watch a movie, and remember that when you get home, it's just you. And if you have people in your home, then you need to reassess whether you want to live the rest of your life like that. Life is short. You got to be cutthroat. Life is short. You got to decide if the friends that you're living with are raising your cortisol levels. The man you're with is raising your cortisol levels. The family you see a lot, are they raising your cortisol levels? Are you communicating your boundaries? Are you able to decompress if you can't communicate your boundaries and they are drinking and doing drugs and they're violent or something and you just want to see them for like an hour and you got to go home and you got to regulate. And it's choosing. It's choosing. You can't leave a stressful situation and go to work. You have to take a minute. Life is too short to just rush through. And when you go to work, there's some days where I'm like, that was too much. I need to take the rest of the day off. Or I'm not coming in tomorrow. Stuff like that.
So what do you recommend for people who really struggle creating those boundaries, or even like I feel like, and this is something that that happens within our community a lot, is they struggle with being at peace. Like they feel guilt just being at peace or doing something for themselves, like if they're not like consistently working or providing or protecting, if they're not like doing some type of like providing, then they feel like they don't feel comfortable just being. So
I would recommend doing grief work because there's a lot of unresolved rage within the levels of grief that people aren't feeling. You got to be okay. And we said this earlier, and I said this earlier, is Being angry doesn't mean you're going to be violent. We associate anger with violence. So we think that we're not allowed to communicate to people because people say, well, what? You're not going to help me? You're not going to listen to me? You're not going to be here for me? No, that doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't want you in my life. I just can't. Don't have space right now. Sorry. Nope. I'll see you when I feel better. And then if that person starts to cause harm, and then you have to regulate and realize is worthy of a relationship still, a friendship. Do I need to engage with this person right now? Is there levels of engagement that I need to pull back? There are some people you can't fully engage with. There are some people you can fully engage with. But a lot of people struggle with codependency and people pleasing. And a good way to deal with that is to do grief work. Because all of the communication that you stop doing that you should be doing is not conversations that exist in this timeline right now in the present sense. They are conversations that you never had when you were a child.
Ooh.
Damn.
I know. I was like, damn. Let that sink in just for a second.
Yeah, you're not mad at your man, you're mad at your mom, you're mad at your dad, you're mad at your grandpa, you're mad at your grandma. You're not really that mad.
Well, thank you so much for having me and answering my questions. I appreciate you.
Bye, Daisy.
Bye.
Hi, Daisy. Go stand in front of the air conditioner, you'll feel better. You're probably all hot.
Well, I have kept you here for almost 2 hours. I want to thank you for being here. And I knew how amazing you are. I wanted everybody to know how amazing you are, and just for them to get to know you. Some Metzley said, "What if my man does piss me off, though?"
Then tell him, fuck you piss me off sometimes. I do that.
That part.
I'd be like, you piss me off. Your partner should be your bro, basically. At the end of the day, that's your backup. That's the person in your corner.
Yes,
You should be able
absolutely.
to tell them when they piss you off. They should be able to tell you when you piss them off. And you should be able to take it and say, all right, I'm sorry. That's how you stay together. And that's how you break up in a good way, too, if it is not working anymore. We don't need to be violent and angry and dramatic and toxic when we leave a relationship. We can just go, this isn't working, but I want to still be cool with you. If you don't want to be cool, that's okay. This didn't work.
Yes. We need to normalize that. We need to normalize healthy breakups. Like, you don't gotta break up and
Because
throw
you're not
your.
really that mad that he doesn't want to be with you. You're mad because dad didn't come back. You're mad because mom worked 12-hour shifts. You're mad because grandmother never made you the cookies you wanted. Talk to that version of yourself and see how you feel after. See if you're still that mad. Because you won't be. The emotional charge is connected to inner child work. And remember, nobody can make you mad. You're choosing to respond that way. You could be totally gangster about it the entire time. I feel really uncomfortable and dysregulated. I'm going to talk to you in a minute.
Oh,
Then you can just go walk away. Is this my stuff? Is this his stuff? Is this our stuff? And then come back. Be like, all right, I need to address something with you with no emotion at all because you got it out. You talked to a girlfriend. You talked to a therapist. You wrote it down. You journaled it. You did some grief work. But we don't ever need to come with all this emotion when we're dealing with conflict because you're never going to find a solution when you're yelling at somebody.
well, I hope that you will come back for a second
I will.
interview.
Yeah,
And like,
anytime.
I usually say, like, I want to catch up with all the, like, anybody I interview. I want to catch up with you in 6 months and see where you're at. Just get like a cool update, see if there's anything new. How's it going? Thank you so much, Taso Kamati, for
Thank
being
you for the
here.
interview. I appreciate your time.
Yes. Thank you. No, it's your time. And like I said, you could have been anywhere doing anything, but you chose to be here. I don't want to keep you though, because I hear your family. So thank you so much. And everybody who is in here, make sure you give her a follow. She is, if you're not following her, y'all are lame. Okay. I need you to fix it. Get on board. You're not a girl's girl if you're not following her. Make sure you follow her. Do all the good things. And you guys already know, I always end it out. Love on yourself, love on the people around you, and do something for yourself today. Do something for yourself. You only live once. And this world is crazy. Do something to make you happy, whether that's drinking your favorite soda, going for a walk, painting your nails, listening to your favorite song. Do something for yourself. I love you guys. Tala, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And
Bye,
we will catch
everybody.
up.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye.